Hi learners, and welcome to another week at CPDLF. This week we're going to be talking about the Constitution, continuing with it. Last week we talked about the birth of a nation, the Articles of Confederation, and I showed you guys a little bit about the Constitution with the video that I put in. But this week we're going to continue with the Constitution, and you are going to write a short essay, and then hopefully you'll move on to your two-day break. And if you want to work over break, that's perfectly fine. Work ahead. If you need to get caught up over break, you can do that as well. But I think this is a pretty easy week for you guys. So this is a good week to get caught up or work ahead if you want to. Okay, so the first assignment you're going to do is called the Constitution of the United States. And it is Unit 2.11. So you're going to go through and learn about ratifying the Articles of Confederation, why it didn't work, the different plans they came up with, the Virginia plan, the New Jersey plan. Some of you guys may have heard of these before. They came up with the Great Compromise, how they added the three branches, how they kept the North and the South both somewhat happy. My husband always says that you have a good compromise when both sides feel like they could have gotten a little bit more. And that's how you know you have a good compromise, when both sides feel just a little bit cheated. So that's what compromise is about. It's about, two sides working together to come to an agreement. And you'll learn a little bit about the federal system today, the Bill of Rights, which I'm going to show you guys a little slide, little video on that here. You'll learn about the First Amendment and religion and rights of the accused, all of the different things in the Bill of Rights that give you guys your basic rights. And you'll learn about how at first, it wasn't in there. And there's actually discussion about, why didn't the Founding Fathers just put that in there to start with? And a lot of it actually is because they were simply done. They were tired. It was hot. It was Philadelphia. It was the summer. And literally the Founding Fathers were just too tired to continue on, and they were done. And that's why the Bill of Rights didn't go in right away. Okay, and then you're going to write an essay about checks and balances, which is a very important thing. It says, in an essay of 400 words, summarize the responsibilities of the three branches of the U.S. government and the system of checks and balances. So what is the purpose of it? Okay, so make sure you discuss the responsibilities of the three branches, describe the system of checks and balances, and how it prevents one branch from becoming too powerful, misusing their power. Okay, so those are the two assignments for the week. I want to show you guys this little video here, and this is actually a series on PBS. It's called Constitution USA, and I used to show the kids when I taught in a brick and mortar school. I used to show them bits and pieces of this, and we would talk about it. It does compare, our country to other countries. It shows you what's going on around the world, what's going on in our country. The one that I really liked, this one video clip, it talked about Reykjavik and Iceland and them creating a new constitution. It wasn't working. And they actually pulled the people of their country. Like, they went to social media to get ideas about how they should rewrite their constitution, which is very different from, when our founding fathers did it. It was a closed system. It was hot. They kept the windows down. They didn't want the public to know what was going on. It was very secretive, because they were just supposed to be, revising the articles. They weren't supposed to be writing an entirely new document that would become our Constitution. Okay, so let me show you this little video clip. This talks a little bit about eminent domain, and some of you may have heard of this before. I'm going to discuss it a little bit after the video clip. It's just a couple minutes.
History has shown that the rights of the minority do matter, even if they hold unpopular opinions. And the Bill of Rights is designed to protect individuals from the government and to prevent a tyranny of the majority. But sometimes the courts rule in favor of the majority, and the individual loses out. A few years ago, some residents of the town of New London, Connecticut, were stunned when the city informed them it was taking their homes through the process known as eminent domain. Like it or not, they'd have to accept the city's chosen price for their houses and get out.
Right here, there used to be about 30 homes sitting right here on my lap.
We choked field, this vacant lot.
This vacant lot right
This
here.
is where your parents' home was.
Exactly. These were all well-kept backyards, pull right into the driveway, and right off the bat, we had my father's wonderful plants. And on March 3rd of 2006, they came with a bulldozer. They tore the 2 houses that were here. And then they took the bulldozer, swung it right over. And I jumped out, came into the driveway, and stopped them.
You stopped them.
I stopped them. I said, you need to move these plants before you touch one thing on this house. And they said, we have a demolition order, we're tearing it down.
Government orders people out of their homes and bulldozes them? Surely this can't happen here, not without a good reason. And the city insisted it did have a good reason. In fact, it was armed with the Bill of Rights. At the end of the Fifth Amendment, the text says, "Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation." And even though it's there to protect property owners from government seizure, it also allows the government to take your property as long as they pay you for it, and as long as it's needed for public use, to build a school or make way for a railroad. But in this case, the public part wasn't so obvious. The City of New London wanted to turn the property over to a private development corporation to build a hotel, a fitness club, condos. New London argued that the whole city would benefit. The residents fought back, and the case known as Kelo versus the City of New London ended up in the Supreme Court, where the justices ruled against the homeowners.
There was just nothing I could do, besides being hauled off, and I couldn't see what good that was going to do. I had to go home that night to tell my dad his property destroyed.
How do you take it?
He cried. He cried. Like, how could those justices in black robes steal our property rights from us? I feel like the Constitution failed.
Did the Constitution fail Mike and his neighbors? The Fifth Amendment is supposed to protect property rights. The problem is with how the clause is interpreted. New London was able to interpret public use very broadly, and the Supreme Court backed them up. Oh, and by the way, the hotel and condos and fitness club in New London never built. So it's hard to say that the city really won anything. What happened in New London was far from unique. In recent years, there have been thousands of cases of state and local governments seizing property in the name of economic development, and that sparked a nationwide backlash, forcing legislatures to rein in the use of eminent domain. The Bill of Rights is ink on parchment, but it's not exactly etched in stone. Over the years, the rights guaranteed by those faint scratches.
Okay, so under the Fifth Amendment, the government, can take land under eminent domain. And I don't know if you know any instances when this has happened any circumstances where this happened in your community. I do know of a few big ones where I live. They took land to make I-99, which is a huge road. My aunt owned land on I-99. She had a nice house with a pool, lots of trees, lots of land, and they wanted her land to, make a road from Altoona to State College. Because, people traveling through there, people for work, people for Penn State games. And so they eventually, gave her the money and they took it for eminent domain. There's an intersection right near my house where they wanted to expand it. So they took a little bit of land. They didn't knock houses down, but they took some of the sidewalks, some of the people's land and pushed everything back. So, think about that, ask your relatives, has there been an instance where eminent domain has, taken place in your community? So again, this is called PBS. PBS, it's Constitution USA. It's an excellent video series. It has little examples about, the different amendments and how it, plays out in people's lives and, different scenarios where people's rights, were they violated, were they not violated, and a lot of, cases that made it to the Supreme Court. And he goes and he looks at them. So it's a pretty interesting video series. So again, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. And if not, you guys have a wonderful week. Stay on pace and enjoy your little break. Thanks. Bye.